Hello, everyone. It's Anna. There's a specific kind of regret that doesn't announce itself loudly, but lives in the quiet moments when someone is alone with their thoughts. When they see something that reminds them of you, when they go to text you out of habit and remember they can't anymore, when they're with someone new and all they can think is, this person isn't them, when they realize that pushing you away didn't bring the relief they expected. It brought emptiness shaped exactly like you. And that regret, it's eating someone alive right now. Not dramatically, not publicly, but constantly, every day, every night. In the space between distractions, when there's nothing left but the truth they've been avoiding, they made a catastrophic mistake when they pushed you away. You're out here living your life, healing, moving forward, building something new from the ruins of what they destroyed. And they're watching, they're noticing, they're seeing you become someone even more incredible than you were when they had you. And the recognition is devastating them. They lost you, and they're finally understanding what that loss actually means. Um, Tonight we sit with the bitter medicine of too late realization. When someone who pushed you away can no longer deny that they pushed away exactly what they needed. When distance gives clarity that proximity couldn't. When your absence teaches lessons your presence never could. When someone discovers that what they thought was freedom was actually just loneliness wearing a mask. Let me reveal what's currently alive in the consciousness of someone who's drowning in regret. In the brutal education of consequence, some people only learn through loss. They can't appreciate what they have while they have it. They need to lose something precious to understand it was precious. They need to experience your absence to recognize what your presence was providing. And there's someone in your past who's receiving exactly that education right now. They pushed you away thinking they were making a smart choice, protecting themselves, maintaining control, avoiding vulnerability, choosing something they thought was better or safer or easier. It's possible they convinced themselves at the time that pushing you away was the right move. They had reasons, explanations, justifications. They told themselves and others why it had to be this way, why you weren't right for them, why the timing was off, why they needed space or freedom or something you supposedly couldn't give them. Some people are excellent at building logical cases for emotional cowardice. They make pushing people away sound reasonable, mature even. I'm just being honest with myself. I need to focus on my growth. The connection wasn't right. Beautiful words covering ugly truth. They were scared and they ran. You might have been on the receiving end of exactly that kind of dressed up rejection, where they made it sound like a thoughtful decision, like they were doing both of you a favor, like this was wisdom instead of what it actually was. Fear, self protection, inability to handle the intensity of what you were offering. And you believed them, maybe, or part of you did. You questioned yourself, wondered what you did wrong, tried to understand how something that felt so right to you felt wrong to them. Let me speak into what they're realizing now. In the harsh light of your absence, this reflection invites you to consider who in your past seems to be watching your life more closely than someone who moved on would watch. The first thing they're realizing is that you weren't the problem. Whatever story they told themselves about why it couldn't work, they're seeing through it now. They're recognizing that the issues they blamed on you or the relationship were actually their own unresolved wounds, their own lack of readiness, their own inability to receive love when it was offered freely. In the cruel mirror of retrospective clarity, people often see themselves accurately only after they've destroyed something good. They see their patterns, their self sabotage, their fear disguised as discernment. And they see that you weren't what was wrong, they were. It's possible the person who pushed you away is currently sitting in exactly that uncomfortable recognition. They're looking at their life now, at what they chose instead of you, at the freedom or space or whatever they thought they needed, and it's hollow, empty, not what they imagined it would be. Some people thought pushing you away would bring peace. Instead, it brought different kind of chaos. The chaos of wondering if they made the biggest mistake of their life. The chaos of comparing everyone new to you and finding everyone lacking. The chaos of realizing that what they had with you was rare and they treated it like it was common. You might be irreplaceable in ways they're only now understanding, not because you're perfect, but because the specific combination of qualities you brought, the specific way you saw them, the specific connection you shared, it's not something they're finding elsewhere, and they're starting to suspect they never will. This reflection invites you to consider what made your connection with this person unique that they can't replicate with others. Let me illuminate what watching you move on is doing to them. There's a particular torture in watching someone you pushed away become even better without you, in seeing them heal from the wound you created, in witnessing them build a life that's full and rich and beautiful, a life that doesn't include you because you chose not to be included. It's possible this person is experiencing exactly that torture right now. They're seeing your social media, hearing about you through mutual connections, noticing that you're not just surviving without them, you're thriving, you're lighter, freer, more yourself. And every sign of your flourishing is a reminder of what they're missing. Some people thought you'd fall apart without them. They expected you to stay stuck, to pine, to wait for them to change their mind. They needed you to need them more than you needed them to stay. And your thriving is destroying that narrative. You're proving you didn't need them the way they needed to believe you needed them. You might be the plot twist someone wasn't ready for. They thought they were the prize you lost. They're discovering you were the prize they lost. They thought pushing you away would make you desperate to get back in. Instead, you built a life they're now desperate to access. And your glow up, it's not just physical, it's energetic. You carry yourself differently now. You've done the healing work. You've reclaimed your power. You've remembered who you are without someone making you smaller. And that transformation is visible even from distance. This reflection invites you to consider, how have you changed since someone pushed you away? Let me speak to what they're comparing you to. When someone pushes you away, they often think they're making space for something better, someone easier, someone more available, someone who doesn't require them to grow or be vulnerable or face their fears, someone they can keep at arm's length without consequence. In the disappointing reality of grass is greener thinking, what's on the other side is usually just different grass. Not better, just different, and often worse in ways they didn't anticipate. Less patient, less understanding, less willing to see the best in them, less committed, less real. It's possible the person who pushed you away is currently experiencing exactly this disappointment. They thought they'd find better. Instead, they're finding different. People who don't challenge them but also don't inspire them. People who are easier but also emptier. People who don't push their buttons but also don't touch their soul. Some people are discovering right now that what they had with you, the depth, the connection is less than #0. 5 is greater than the way you saw them. It's rare. They're dating, they're meeting people, they're trying to replicate what they had with you, and they can't because you're not a type. You're specific. And specific can't be replaced with generic. You might be the standard someone is now using to measure everyone else, the connection they're trying to find again, the feeling they're chasing, the person they reference when they're being honest about what they actually want, someone like them, but not them. Because I already ruined that. And every person who isn't you is a reminder that they pushed away something they'll likely never have again. This reflection invites you to consider, what did you offer that was unique to you specifically? Let me reveal the specific moments when their regret hits hardest. Late nights are brutal, when there's no distraction, when they're alone with thoughts they can avoid during the day, when they remember the way you laughed, the way you looked at them, the way you made them feel seen, the conversations, the intimacy, the ease, all of it gone, because they were too afraid or proud or stupid to hold on to it. It's possible they're having exactly these late night regret sessions right now, lying awake, replaying moments, wondering what would be different if they'd chosen differently, torturing themselves with the question that has no good answer. What if I hadn't pushed them away? Some people can distract during the day, but night breaks them open, makes them honest, makes them face what they're running from when the sun is up. And in those vulnerable dark hours, they're confronting the magnitude of what they lost. You might be the 3 a.m. thought someone can't shake, the person who haunts their quiet, the regret that won't let them sleep peacefully because peace isn't available when you've broken something you can't fix, or the regret hits when they see you accidentally or through social media or through running into you somewhere and you look good, you look happy, you look free, and they remember they're part of why you look free, because you're free from them, from the confusion and hurt and instability they created. This reflection invites you to consider, have you noticed someone who pushed you away seeming uncomfortable when they see you doing well? Let me speak to what they might be considering doing with this regret. Some people sit in regret and do nothing. They recognize they messed up, but they're too proud or ashamed to reach out. They convince themselves it's too late, that you've moved on, that you wouldn't want to hear from them. So they suffer in silence while you live in peace. It's possible the person regretting losing you falls into this category. They want to reach out, but they can't find the courage. They rehearse what they'd say, but never say it. They type messages and delete them. They want reconciliation, but they're paralyzed by fear of rejection or judgment or your indifference. But others can't sit in regret quietly. Eventually it becomes unbearable, and they reach out with an apology, with an explanation, with an attempt to fix what they broke, with hope that maybe, just maybe, you'll give them another chance, even though they didn't deserve the first one. You might be approached by exactly that kind of regretful reach out soon or eventually. Someone who pushed you away might try to pull you back, might confess they made a mistake, might admit they can't stop thinking about you, might ask if there's any possibility of trying again. And what you do with that reach out is entirely up to you. This reflection invites you to consider, if someone who pushed you away tried to come back, what would you need to hear or see? Let me illuminate what you need to understand about your position in all of this. Their regret is not your responsibility. Their realization that they lost something precious doesn't obligate you to make yourself available again. Their suffering doesn't require your comfort. Their lesson doesn't need your participation. It's possible you feel the pull to help them feel better, to reassure them, to minimize what they did so they don't feel so bad about it, to make their regret easier to bear. That's your compassion speaking. But compassion for them can't come at the expense of protection for yourself. Some people who pushed you away genuinely learned, genuinely grew, genuinely became capable of what they weren't capable of before. And if someone like that approaches you with real accountability and demonstrated change, you might choose to consider them again. But others just miss you without being different. They regret losing you, but they haven't addressed what made them push you away in the first place. They want you back, but they're the same person who couldn't handle you before. And choosing them again would just create the same pattern in new wrapping. You don't owe anyone access to you just because they finally recognized your value. You don't have to accept someone back just because they're sorry they left. You're allowed to have moved on, to have closed that door, to have built a life that doesn't include space for people who proved they couldn't value you when they had the chance. This reflection invites you to consider, what do you actually want regarding this person who pushed you away? Let me close by speaking to the power of your healing. The best response to being pushed away is exactly what you're doing: living well, healing fully, becoming more yourself, building a life so good that their absence is barely noticeable because you filled the space they left with things that actually serve you. Your thriving is not revenge, but it is the most powerful statement you could make. It says, you didn't break me. It says, I'm more than what you reduced me to. It says, pushing me away didn't destroy me. It freed me. And watching you thrive is teaching them more than any conversation could. It's showing them what they lost. It's proving that you were never the problem. It's demonstrating that people who can't appreciate you don't deserve access to you. May you continue building. May you continue healing. May you continue knowing your worth. Their regret is theirs to carry. Your peace is yours to protect. The lesson is complete. Someone really pushed you away. They made a choice they're now drowning in regret about, and now they're realizing what they lost every day, every comparison, every moment of your absence teaching them exactly what your presence was worth. But their realization doesn't change what happened, doesn't erase the hurt, doesn't automatically restore what was broken. Their regret is real, but it's not your problem to solve. Trust this. Trust that you deserved better than being pushed away. Trust